My name is John. I'm 52 years old. Youngest of 6 kids. Had a good Christian life as a Catholic growing up. But I didn't really understand it. I was always waiting to get out of church. Hurry up, let's get this over with. I got to go play. I'm going to do something. From the time I was 6 till I was 12 years old, however, I was molested by my older brother. So by the time I was 13, I was smoking cigarettes, smoking reefer, doing drugs, doing anything. Then by the time I was 17, I was arrested. I spent my 18th, 19th, and 20th birthday in prison for distribution of drugs, selling drugs, doing drugs, whatever. I got out, found out I couldn't get a job as a felon. So what did I do? Resorted back to drugs, alcohol, anything I did could just to build these walls. These walls that God can take away. That God has taken away from me. While I was in prison, I was also raped by 6 men because I was young. And I don't know their reason, but I blame God for that. I used to blame my whole life. Doing drugs, blocking this thing out. Why would a God that loves me as much as He says He does let this happen to me? But God didn't do those things. Satan did. But I still tried to bury it. But I always knew that God wanted me for a reason. I would always run across these people on the streets trying to hand me a flyer about Jesus. Do you want to be saved? And He was always searching for me. He has a plan for me. Plans to give me hope in the future. Plans to prosper me. But I didn't believe it. And then I met these men at Mercy House. I had a guy I was going to church with for 4 years. He told me about this place. He said, "Hey, John, I know a place," because I used to tell everybody I was kind of like your undercover drug addict. I was hiding it. I was keeping it away from people, thinking they didn't know, but they knew. And he told me, he said, "I know this place, but it takes 14 months. Are you willing to give up 14 months of your life, John?" And I said, "Oh, nah. Finally, one day, I lost my wife. Oh, I'm going to go back a little bit. My wife got cancer. I met my wife when I was 13, and I buried her when she was 48. I took care of her the last 4 months of her life, and I'd do it again if I could. But I was staying clean during this time, because when I came to Purvis, Mississippi from Virginia in 2005, I went to this church. I was invited to this church. They had black curtains over their windows. It was a small building about half this size. The walls weren't quite completed yet. I like this look though. But I took Jesus into my heart. Me and my wife. And life was so good. I was making thousands and thousands of dollars a week dealing drugs, but now I was at a weekly job making $300 a week. My wife was making $150 at McDonald's. And you know, when we were going to church, we were doing good. Everything was great. And you know that when I was making those thousands of dollars dealing drugs, I was always broke. But when I had a $300 paycheck coming in every week and my wife $150, all my bills were getting paid, my refrigerator was full, and I never needed anything. I mean, do the math there. I mean, it's all Jesus. Jesus is good. But I still, and then my wife got cancer. And again, I blame God. Why are you doing this to me? Why? I watched her slowly die for 4 months. She took her last breath in my arms, kissed her on her forehead. I was staying up 23 hours a day for those 4 months because I didn't want to go to sleep knowing she was going through that. And Jesus carried me this whole time. She took her last breath. I went in the kitchen and I collapsed on the floor and slept for like 14 hours. Then I woke up and my daughter's on the couch watching TV, and I just said, all right, I can do this. I can be a Mr. Mom. I can do this. So I did it. I did good for over a year. And then I just started getting lonely. And then I started doing this backslide. I thought I was doing okay because I started selling my lower tabs. Wasn't getting high, but I thought that I justified it by saying, I'm okay. I'm always selling them. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not doing them. I'm not getting high, but I was fooling myself. I was lying to myself. And then one day I just started getting high again. I relapsed. I was getting high. I was introduced to crystal meth. And I did it for about 6 months, and God said, no. He arrested me. I lost my daughter. I chose drugs over my daughter. She didn't do anything. She didn't do nothing wrong. She was a beautiful 13-year-old, and I chose getting high over her. Luckily, thank God, I had family that she could go to when I went to jail. And my niece said that she would only take her if she'd make it final until she was 18. So I had to think more of my daughter than of myself, so I signed the papers. I said, yeah, you can adopt her. I gave her my full parental rights. And I went to my buddy Glenn that had been telling me about this 14-month program for almost 3 years. And I said, all right, Glenn, drop me off. Drop me off. Well, my brother Daryl, I wasn't very good with authority either because I was a drug dealer, street runner. Authority. Ooh, well, it says in the Bible that God disciplines those He loves. Well, let me tell you, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that He really loves me. All right? 14 months wasn't enough for me. I acted so stupid. I got extra time, but you know what? There's a reason for it, because I needed that extra time. I was in the arms of Satan for 38 years. I think Jesus is worth more than 14 months. And God is so good. He's just, now I got this feeling in my heart that I have been crucified with Christ. The life I live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave Himself for me. Galatians 2:20. And now, I've decided I graduate a week from tomorrow. 17 months later. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to meet up with my daughter again when she goes to college at USN down in Hattiesburg. And I'm going to stay here. I start college in the fall. I got my GED here at Mercy House.
Amen.
Out of a possible 800, my average score was 690. That's because I asked Jesus for remembrance and He gave it to me.